Hey guys, Bjorn here with the Old School Labs, and 2 weeks out of Mr. Olympia we have a bunch of physique updates of the top guys in classic physique and open bodybuilding. Here you can see William Bonac, the runner-up from last year. Is he gonna be runner-up this year with much less depleted lineup, let's call it that way, with Big Ramy, with Phil Heath, some of the top guys who were able to beat William Bonac before. With those guys in the mix and maybe with some other guys on instead of being off, like Roelly, like, I don't know, maybe Dexter even. Dexter, he's an old man, yeah, but every year we say that, and we say that pretty much in vain. So he made a video recently where he talked about what he's gonna do with the Mr. Olympia. And if you didn't watch it, go ahead and watch it. It's a rather lengthy video, it's a long one, but I don't know about you, me personally, I enjoy listening to Dexter. He has that confidence about him and he's honest, and also unique in a way. So I enjoy listening to him. And he knows what he's talking about, of course. He has the confidence because he's not the greatest of all time and he's still competing. So here you can see him at the Arnold Classic 2020 where he was able to beat Big Ramy, right? He took second spot. Last year, the Mr. Olympia, he was in top 5, guys. So Dexter is still a top guy. And look at his side chest. Look at this. I mean, he's not accidentally there. It's not because of his name. He's a good bodybuilder. What he said in that video that I don't want to show you because it's a really long video. You can go ahead and watch the entire video. But he said that this time around, he's prepping for his last Mr. Olympia ever. This time around, he's doing some things that he has never done before. No, he's not experimenting with new stuff. He's just probably not eating as much junk as he used to. He's eating clean foods, He always used to eat clean, but he always had more junk that he should have probably. But again, he would always be super sharp. His nickname is The Blade. And I'm sure he did the same thing here. And he says if he always had to diet perfectly like that and do a lot of cardio, he wouldn't last as long as he did. But take a look at his physique. He was still able to get shredded by not taking it too seriously, not doing too much cardio. Now, for his last Mr. Olympia, he's giving it all he's got. So I'm sure he's thinking about the diet, the cardio, but it's gotta do something with drugs as well. So he probably decided to give it the last push. So you can expect him to be better than the last year. I don't think he's gonna be worse. He's probably gonna be better. Still, is it gonna be enough to, I don't know, crack the top 2, top 3? I think it's possible. I don't think he can win the show. It's not out of the question. It's not very likely, but it's not impossible. I mean, this guy, he has proven us so many times that the age doesn't really make any difference to him. It doesn't change his body. I mean, he just gets more matured, right? I mean, he was probably a little bit more round, He was rounder in 2008, for example, when he won the Mr. Olympia, but he was not this conditioned, this grainy, this matured. All things considered, mainly the fact that he says that he's giving it more than he used to, he can take some of the top guys out. He can be in the top 2, top 3, and take a look at the crowd here, how much people love him, how many fans he's got. Why is that? It's not because he's the most entertaining bodybuilder ever, but it is because he's the most consistent one, probably the most consistent bodybuilder of all time. He has been showing great conditioning year after year, and you cannot expect anything less this time around. He says he's gonna give it more than he used to, so I expect improvements from this guy right here. Can he win the Mr. Olympia? I wouldn't be too surprised. I would be amazed, but I mean, take a look at his body. Does it look like a 50-year-old body to you? I don't think so. Let's see what Dexter does, but now let's go back to Bonac. I started talking about him and I switched the subject to Dexter. But I don't really have much to say about Bonac. I mean, you can see right here that he's in shape. He has very separated and striated chest. Overall, he's in good conditioning. He is one of those guys that is never off, really. I don't think I ever saw William Bonac that is off. Maybe he can be like either 100% or like 90, 95. He doesn't really get lower than that. He's always on, right? Sometimes he's a bit fuller, sometimes he's a bit sharper, but a bit smaller, a bit less full. But yeah, he's always on. And when he is on, a lot of people cannot touch him. So yeah, he has a guaranteed spot in that top 6, I would say. Because there is 7 really good guys this time around, if Hadi is competing. 7 really good guys, and anybody can take anybody out, but the chances of all 6 other guys to be on, and for Bonac to be like 90% of him, and for every single one of them to beat Bonac and he ends up 7th, that's very likely. So I have Bonac in that top 6, it's guaranteed. Anywhere from 6th to 1st spot. He can even win the Mr. Olympia if everything, but not very likely. I mean, if everything is perfect for him, if the top guys are off and he's early on, it can happen. I said it before, and I really believe that if he showed up at the Mr. Olympia last year, the way he looked at the Arnold Classic last year, he would have won that show, but he didn't do that. Anyways, he's one of the top guys. He looks amazing at this point. I don't expect anything less than a really good William Bonac this year's Mr. Olympia, and probably like somewhere between 1st and 6th spot. Most likely somewhere in between. 4th, 3rd, something like that. We'll see. Here is a sick looking physique update of one of the, 2nd tier bodybuilders. I don't think he's gonna be in that top 7, but probably in that top 10. He won a pro show this time around, beating Justin Rodriguez. So he's one of the top guys, sure. People, argue about what does it mean, really, a top tier and 2nd tier bodybuilders, especially on, if you guys follow WADABIAD's podcast, they're arguing about that. In my opinion, top 6, top 5, top 6, that's top tier. Everything else is 2nd tier. If you talk about the Mr. Olympia, if you talk about bodybuilding in general, all the Mr. Olympia guys are top tier bodybuilders. Anyways, Akim here, he looks amazing. I mean, he's one of the biggest guys on that stage. Considering everybody, he's a beast. That's his nickname as well. He's humongous bodybuilder, and he finally figured it out with conditioning this year. He was early on last time he competed. I'm sure he will be on at the Mr. Olympia as well. Take a look at the striations in the chest and the legs and the shoulders and everything. Kind of an issue is his back. He doesn't really get it super conditioned, but this time around it was decent. Glutes are always, they're close to being in shape. This year they were on. So I can expect him to be in good shape, probably be somewhere between that 8th and, I don't know, maybe 11th, 12th spot. He's right there in that 2nd tier, I would call it. So he's not going to be one of the top 7 guys, but the next 4 guys are going to be, switching places, like him, Ian Valier, Hunter Labrada, and a few more guys. So at this point, he looks absolutely insane, freaky, really freaky. We'll see how he does at the Mr. Olympia. Alright, so here we have a new photo of Hadi Choopan. It's a new photo, but it's not necessarily a new physique update, because I noticed there were quite a few photos that are all under the same lighting and the same definition of a photo. So he probably had a little photo shoot maybe like a week ago, and he has been posting new photos every day. So this is his shape probably like 3-4 weeks out. So we are still not sure if he's going to be able to travel over to US and compete. But if this is how he looks at 3 or 4 weeks out, if he keeps dieting and training hard and everything, just prepping for the Mr. Olympia, how good will he look? This is super freaky. Take a look at those veins all over his biceps and the striation in the chest and the conditioning, just overall conditioning, his face, his shoulders, everything. He's really lean, guys, so I don't know. If he actually manages to travel over there, and if he keeps that foot on the gas pedal up until the Mr. Olympia, I can expect him to be in the top 3. Yeah, I think so. It can happen, because it seems like he's going to be really on. If he was at the Mr. Olympia with his Vancouver Pro Show edition, I think he won the Mr. Olympia, because that was so good. It was insane. People were blown away with that edition, probably more than they were blown away with any bodybuilder edition for the past few years. Yeah, that was freaky. That was something like 2011 Phil Heath kind of conditioning and fullness. So we'll see what Hadi does at the Mr. Olympia. I really hope he's gonna be over there, but we're not sure yet, so let's wait and see what happens. Alright, so we have a little physique posing update of Alex Cambronero. Somebody most people actually kind of forgot about. He won the Arnold Classic, guys. Let's not forget about that. It's not a small feat to win Arnold Classic, second biggest show in the world. He won that thing, and now he's coming to the Mr. Olympia. So, I mean, should we even consider him like to win the Mr. Olympia? He's coming off of a very strong win. I mean, that's a really strong win. Like that's something like Brandon Curry won the Arnold Classic, then he won the Mr. Olympia. Breon Ansley, also 2018, he won the Mr. Olympia. Before that, he won the Arnold Classic. So maybe he's gonna win the Mr. Olympia, but I really doubt that because I think Chris and Breon are just a different beast, a different animal. And they weren't in the Arnold Classic. If they were there, of course, he wasn't really that good. They would have beaten him. But he had time to improve since then. So should we consider him a third spot finisher? I don't know. Maybe we should. But we should definitely not forget about him because, I mean, still take a look at his physique. It's a sick physique. The waist is really small. I don't really like his presentation. He kind of seems, not super interested, maybe a little bit like he's bored on the stage, but it's just the facial expressions of his. He can't really do those properly, but the physique speaks for itself. It's enough. It's not necessary to be an entertainer on the stage. His physique speaks to volume, and I expect him to be most likely in the top 3. I mean, who else? Why would you give it to anybody else if you were predicting that third spot since he won the Arnold Classic? But then again, I wasn't super impressed with his physique from the Arnold Classic. It was good, but it didn't really blow me away. We'll see. But still, there are other guys. I mean, Keon and George Peterson are out, so he's going to be left with Chan Kang, for example, who is an amazing classic physique. Take a look at this guy. I mean, his physique is absolutely insane. So we'll see how Alex Cambronero does, but he has pretty decent chances of being in the top 3. Alright, next, here's a photo that I wanted to talk about. It is a new physique update of Chris Bumstead, but is it really new? I don't know. If it is, I'm disappointed, guys. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not seeing clearly. The other people are usually amazed with his physique. I've seen people post this on their stories, acting all amazed with his physique update. People are commenting also really good things. Me personally, my first impression was, is this gonna be enough? I mean, is he really good conditioned for 2 weeks out? Honestly, I'm hoping this is an old photo. Or I'm just wrong. I mean, yeah, 2 weeks, it's a long time, especially if you're holding water. If you need to, get rid of the water, then that can make a huge difference, in the final moments. But yeah, there is also the fact that these guys have insanely fast metabolisms. So if it's necessary, they can just push things, in the last 2 weeks and still get more conditioned, leaner. But at this point, Chris doesn't look as good as Breon. Take a look at it. I mean, can you see the quads? They are not looking super lean. Neither is chest or arms. I'm not seeing a bunch of veins or any kind of separation, details anywhere. But it's 2 weeks. He should be ready in 5 days from now, and then just cruise into the show or whatever. I mean, he should be ready. It seems to me, I could be very much wrong. I might change my mind as the time goes on. But if this photo is recent, it seems like he's gonna be a little bit off. It doesn't really seem to me he's gonna be super conditioned. Take a look at Breon right now. Look at the chest striations. Look at the veins on the shoulders. The glute, hamstring, quad separation and tie-in right there. He looks way more conditioned. I mean, yeah, 2 weeks, of course. Maybe he shouldn't be ready, this conditioned at this point, but he looks much leaner than Chris, don't you agree? Chris is not known for having the best back, and his back has sort of some kind of wrinkles in that lower part area. Not the case with Breon. I mean, take a look at his back and take a look at the quad, how dry it looks, and the quad hamstring separation and the glutes right there, the lower lats, the shoulders. He's really conditioned at this point, really conditioned. Can he get more ripped? I don't know, but at this point, if the show was tomorrow, he would have won it easily. I mean, if they competed with the way they look right now. So it seems like Breon is in a huge advantage, at this point, but that doesn't really mean much because it only matters who's going to look better on that stage, on due date. It's not yet, it's in 2 weeks, so we'll see what kind of changes can Chris make. Can he really get to this level? I hope so. You know, I like Chris's genetics way more, the shape, the classical lines. But if he's not as conditioned as Breon, he shouldn't win. Yep, that's what I think. I know the way judging criteria is in classic physique, and conditioning should be awarded, and I'm sure it will be. Alright, next, let's go back to the open bodybuilding. Let's talk about the big guys. Here you can see your Mr. Olympia, current Mr. Olympia champion, Brandon Curry, with his physique update. Here you can see what he's basically famous for. This round, bubbly, 3D looking physique. And look at those lines all over his shoulders. Like, there are million little lines, fibers. What the hell is going on right there? Especially that right shoulder of his. I mean, how many lines are there? Can you even count them? It looks freaky. It looks freaky. The veins, he has the veins, but they all look so clean. He has that clean 3D bubbly look. It really looks impressive. It looks very aesthetic, very pleasing to the eye. If you're a fan of bodybuilding, you will find this very, very aesthetic. So here is him at 2 weeks out of Mr. Olympia. He is pretty much done. He likes to do that. I know from the past he always says that he is ready 2 weeks out, and then he just cruises in into the show. He doesn't do anything crazy or drastic in the last moment. We'll see, can he retain his title? Can he stay the champion? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard considering the other guys that are coming that are hopefully gonna be on. If they're all on, it's gonna be a tough one for Brandon, but he kind of has an advantage, you know, being the champ. They need to beat him, right? So yeah, in my eyes, I think it's gonna be Phil first and Brandon second, most likely. I'm making a prediction video. I'm gonna post it these days soon. We're gonna talk more about it, but here you can see him, Brandon Curry. He looks amazing in 2 weeks out. Wow, we have a physique update of Roelly Winklaar in that anabolic mirror, magical lighting over there in Kuwait gym, actually in the bathroom of Kuwait gym. Here he looks absolutely ridiculous. Last year, I predicted him winning the Mr. Olympia, but he was off. He was off. In my eyes, if he is on and Brandon is on, Roelly beats him. But Brandon won last year, so he proved that he has the consistency, unlike Roelly. So the judges will definitely take that into consideration. Not just be like, hey, he has the consistency, so let's gift him a few points. No, it's not like that. It's just the fact that Brandon is gonna be always looked more because judges are gonna be worried about Roelly. Is he gonna be on or off? They're gonna kind of pay more attention to his flaws because of that, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, here he looks amazing, Roelly does, and I think he has the biggest chance of stealing that second spot of Brandon Curry. I mean, yeah, we're talking about second spot, like he's the runner-up, but he's actually the champion. But, you know, Phil Heath came back, so yeah, it's not going to be very likely for Brandon to retain that title. I don't think Phil would be coming back if he wasn't sure that he can beat one Brandon Curry. So yeah, that's going to do it. That's going to be the last update. Roelly Winklaar, who looks absolutely amazing at 2 weeks out, and who has a legitimate chance of cracking the top 2. Whatever you guys think, tell me down below in the comment section. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe for more videos like this. All the best, guys, and keep it old school.